Want to power up? Go pro at Subway for double the protein on footlong subs and the new protein bowls. And if you want to go pro like Marshawn, don't let anything get in your way.
Here we go.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. What's up, Alice?
Hey, Marshawn.
Good call. Go pro and get double the protein for just $2 more on your favorite sub or new protein bowl. Subway, eat fresh.
For football fans, this is truly the most wonderful time of the year. And for Madden gamers, this is championship season. Who will take home the crown, the glory, and everything that goes with it? We're about to find out as we proudly welcome you to the NFL Flag Madden 21 Youth Club Championship presented by Subway. I'm Johnny LaQuasto, and we have two championship clashes for you today, one for PS4 and one for Xbox. And although our players can't be in a jam-packed arena competing today, we hope that every single one of you watching from across the globe can still feel their electric action from some of the best young Madden players across the country. And on top of that, we need to find out how we got to this very moment. So let's do a brief recap. This is how the tournament all broke down. It was open to players all across the United States, and the competition was split into two phases. Phase one, each player chose an individual NFL team that they wanted to represent, and they competed in their own team's qualifiers. Moving on to phase two. The winners of those qualifiers advanced to the Youth Club Championship Super Bowl, which was a double elimination knockout tournament featuring a representative from every NFL team. Every player who won their team's qualifier not only scored some NFL flag swag, a trophy, but they also got a spot in this very Super Bowl, in which the winner is also going to go home with more NFL flag merchandise and a brand new PS5. But before we get to this PS4 championship game, we need to meet the rest of the broadcast team. And for every championship game, you know we need the best of the best. I'm going to bring in three incredible people right now. This duo, well, first off, if there's an esports championship game, he's probably been on the call for it, and he's a Madden champion in his own right. He's Scott Cole, he's Tyler Davis, and of course, we wanted to bring in an actual quarterback. He played for 5 teams in the NFL, and now with his very own QB Summit, he's helping quarterbacks reach their absolute full potential. He's worked with a number of quarterbacks throughout the NFL. He's the one, the only, Jordan Palmer. How you feeling, gentlemen?
Good. Ready to rock.
Excited.
Absolutely. Now, we have an amazing matchup here for PS4. Scott, you've called many a Madden championship tournament before. We have the Bucs taking on the 49ers, okay? We have Ghost for the Bucs, and we have King Detix for the Niners. It's been a very intriguing matchup here because King Detix had to fight all the way through the loser's bracket after getting knocked out by Ghost.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly been an interesting tournament so far. And when you talk about having to face someone that you've already faced before, I think when it comes to, these youngsters, because we're talking about guys that are, have yet to reach that 16, years old mark, that it's going to be tough. The big spotlight, who is going to kind of rise to the occasion here with just one game left to play. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing the most.
And to piggyback off of that, Tyler, you've been there before, you've won before. There's a big difference between playing with your squad, playing with your friends, and playing in this kind of spotlight, especially at a young age.
Yeah, it's very different being in these championship games. Who can come up clutch in those big moments, but also want to see these schemes these kind of kids bring, what kind of money plays, what teams they use. I'm really looking forward to see what these guys have on the virtual gridiron.
No question about that. And now, Jordan, we're looking at both teams on the gridiron. We have the Bucs, we have the Niners. We have Tom Brady taking on who at one point was his heir apparent in Jimmy Garoppolo. Gotta love that matchup.
Yeah, this is fun. This is going to be two really similar players at the quarterback position digitally, and at the same time, anything can go. And I just know both. Tom Brady's been in these playoffs and these Super Bowls so many times. One of the things that's allowed him to win so many Super Bowls in real life is that they never use all their bag of tricks in the playoffs. So many teams kind of pull all their tricks out of the bag just to get to the next round. And for some reason, Belichick and Brady all these years have always had stuff left in the bag, gas left in the tank. For the championship game, I want to see if these two players have the same.
The question is, which player will etch their name in the history books? Before we get to the game action, let's check out a highlight reel of how both these players got to this moment.
Levi Stadium. It's the PlayStation 4 final. The Buccaneers will be Ghost Travis. The 49ers will be King Detix. And I tell you what, we got TD, Jordan Palmer along with me. But, hey, when we talk about regular teams, TD, why the 49ers? We know the Buccaneers, but why the 49ers?
Yeah, 49ers have some of the best defense in Madden 21. We're talking about regular teams. They have guys like Nick Bosa. Guys on that D-line, they have great secondary. Richard Sherman. Abilities are crucial in Madden 21. They have a lot of superstars on that defense.
Well, so it's going to be the Buccaneers starting off with it first. Of course, Ghost Travis working his way through that kind of the losers bracket. And of course, Jordan, when it comes to, NFL playoffs, college playoffs, high school playoffs, it's usually one and done. It's kind of nice in the video game world when you get a second chance to make it to the final.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anything can go right or wrong on any given Sunday, so to speak. And so for somebody to get a second crack at it and have to get in the hard way is impressive.
Well, Jones just ekes out one there, 2nd and 9. Of course, a lot on the line here, TD. They already got a lot of swag. They can add some more swag to it. But I think the thing I'm most jealous about is the next-gen console, the PlayStation 5 on the line for the winner. That's huge.
Yeah, pretty cool winning a PS5. And you see a nice throw right there to Mike Evans. Now, think about the Buccaneers offense. Tom Brady's the only quarterback in the game that has that hot route master ability. So what that allows you to do is put extra hot routes on the field for your receivers. So as you saw there, he puts Mike Evans on a skinny post from the outside, beating that zone coverage. Phenomenal first play.
So much versatility. 1st and 10 at the 42-yard line. Here's Brady. Stance, fires, deliver, and there's another first down. So back-to-back big gains.
He's looking good. Corner route there to Mike Evans. So 2 plays in, he's loving Mike Evans. First on a skinny post, now a corner route. Just really destroying the zone defense.
Jordan, what did you ever think about your Madden ratings out there? I know they gave your brother Costin a little higher rating. Did you guys ever argue about that?
Well, no, that was never really an argument. My brother's one of the all-time greats, and I'm one of the longest NFL careers to never start a game. So we're on different sides of the spectrum here. But I was always the better gamer, going way back to NBA Jam and Contra back in the day.
Man, I love me some Contra. You got to know the code. 2nd and 10. Ball at the 43-yard line. Opening drive here for Ghost. And it's winner take all. This is a double elimination tournament. This is it. Here's Brady again. Good job picking up the blitz. And coming across the middle, there's Miller. He'll pick up the first down a little bit more to the 29-yard line.
Little drag route over the middle to Scotty Miller. And you saw there, he tried to bring a user rush up the middle, and it kind of messed up his user. Scotty Miller was wide open in the middle of the field, and he's on the move right now. Ghost Travis is really moving the ball well.
And getting inside the red zone. Jordan, when they're just like, when you're playing in real life, you got to know where that middle linebacker is. And it's so important in Madden to know where that user guy is. How important is it in your, when you were playing to know where that Mike linebacker is?
Well,
we got a touchdown here. Not to cut you off here, but the opening strike coming in for Ghost. But yeah, I mean, it's so important with the user play. And he couldn't get over there to cover the corner route.
No, he couldn't get over the corner route, and obviously there's no user in real life, but at the same time, whoever their guy is, who's the dude on the other team, you definitely have to account for him. And I played against guys like Troy Polamalu, you have to account for him. Ed Reed and Ray Lewis, you have to know where they are. Most recently, some of these amazing pass rushers, the Bosas, you always have to account for where these guys are in real life. And so a lot of similarities here to the Madden game.
And although we're playing regular teams, that's the cool thing about Madden. They have an ultimate team mode where all those players you just named, you can play with them at the same time, TD. That's magic. But I kind of like the regs mode a little bit better. It just kind of, I feel like there's a little more skill that comes into play, a little more strategy.
Yeah, I've always been a regs guy. I grew up playing regs, back in the old days. Playing my first Madden 2000, playing some franchise modes. I grew up on regs, and you see here, going with this 49ers team, they do have a lot of speed on offense. I know we talked about their defense, but you see here, Raheem Mostert. They have some of the fastest running backs. Jerick McKinnon. They also have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. So they do have some talent, and you can't forget about George Kittle. So I expect him to use all these weapons here in this offense.
Dominican Sue on the tackle, 2nd and 7 after a pickup of 3. 1:45 left. The clock just ticking away here in the first. And we got a sack and a fumble. And then a scoop. And Davis, a scoop and a score to the house. How about that?
Bringing the heat.
In there quick, man. There's so many similarities here. I mean, had X coming over, or X receiver from the left on the post, and just, that's where my eyes were down the field. And when you get your eyes down the field and you forget about that rush, and with a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo or Tom Brady, you're not going to be able to extend the play as well. So if you're going to get the ball to one of those weapons that T talked about, man, it's got to be on time. Have to have a plan versus pressure, have to get it out of your hand quick. In some cases, it is a hot potato.
It's the voice of Jordan Palmer. Scott Cole, TD, along with you. And I tell you what, TD, down 14-0 in the first quarter. This is a tough spot for King D-Tix right here.
Yeah, real tough, but you got to bounce back. You couldn't ask for a better start if you're Ghost Travis. I mean, you go down the field relatively easy, then you get a strip sack fumble, which is crucial in Madden. Anytime you can get those points on defense. So now let's see what King D-Tix can do to bounce back here on offense. See him in this single back wing flex formation, newly added the last few years in Madden. Very good formation.
2nd and 10. Still hasn't been able to get the running game going. We talked about how good their defense is. Well, I mean, we haven't seen it so far as he works his way across midfield to the 43-yard line. That's a big gain of 32 yards.
Yeah, big time run right there. That's what I talked about with that Raheem Mostert. He has 95 speed in the game, little RPO, zone alert bubble. RPOs added recently in Madden as well, and they're phenomenal. I mean, Raheem Mostert, when you get him in open space, he can make a lot of guys miss.
Once again, they come to the outside here. Here's more speed again. It's McKinnon. Jordan, how important it is when I'm not saying Jimmy G is a bad quarterback, but certainly not on the level of Tom Brady. How important is it for a younger quarterback, or maybe a quarterback that doesn't have the skill set of a Hall of Famer, to have a good running game?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, the key thing is establishing the run and then getting the ball to your hand quickly. Just letting the playmakers make plays, getting it to the guys in space. As T mentioned, there's some speed on this team. Brandon Ayuk is a young playmaker. He's coming into his own in the NFL. And then Mostert with that 95 speed. Anytime you can get the ball in his hands, you've got to give him a chance to make people miss.
2nd and 8 now as we start the second quarter. Buccaneers is Ghost Travis. He is on a 14-0 lead here. And there's the blitz again, right up the middle. Sack him up.
It's the same thing. He had a post coming over from the right, had a chance to hit a big one and gash him, and just not able to get that off.
So that pushes it back to 3rd and 14. And they're able to pick it up this time. And wow, hauls it in all the way down at the 19. That's what we call a dot, TD.
That was a great route combo. So he had a slant post combo, one of the best combos in Madden. Then he had that deep post over the top. He threads the needle. He's on the move. I love what both these guys are doing. Scott, we've caught a lot of high-level Madden, but these guys are audibling around a lot. I'm really impressed by both these youngsters so far.
We call Madden on the MCS circuit, which is ages 16 and up. And I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if we're calling some of the names that we're calling today a few years from now.
Oh, the dough. Everyone starts somewhere. Young Dreeny, Joel, these guys start at that young age, and now they're some of the best Madden players in the world. You might see these names on the scene in these next few years.
Good job staying in bounds. Pushed down at the 6-yard line. Going to be 1st and goal. This is where it gets stingy, Jordan, down here in the red zone.
It is. This is where you got to win your one-on-one matchups. We have yet to see George Kittle get into the action here. So here's somebody to keep an eye on for sure. And at the same time, continuing to stick with the run game, down 14. I love the discipline. So easy to sit here and just say, down 14, I got to start making some plays downfield. And even getting behind the sticks twice on this drive, having 2nd and 3rd and long, still getting to scoring position here.
Yeah, Ghost got the ball first, so he's truly, just down a possession. That's how you got to keep in your mindset. Just needs one stop to get back in it, gets it off to Coleman. I mean, the speed at running back in this team is crazy, and there's a touchdown. We got ourselves a ball game.
That was some great stick work. You saw he went up the middle, stop and go, cut back to the outside, and Tevin Coleman falls in. What a great drive. What a way to bounce back for your King D-Tix.
So 14-7 now, 3:06 to go in the half, and Ghost is going to have an opportunity to try to continue to pad this lead. Started with an opening drive, great corner route, and then he had a scoop and score off a fumble by Jimmy G, and he'll start at the 25. You got to like, Jordan, what you saw there from King Detix. Down 14, as you said, just showing some patience, very methodical on that scoring drive.
Yeah, it's got to be so easy to fall into the trap to try and chuck the ball down the field, but that was just methodical. Took the flat, took what was there.
And we got a pick. Can he take it to the cribbo?
He's gone.
Trying to get to the pylon, and he will. And we are tied at 14. Wow.
Wow. The crib to tie it up. I love it. Way to bounce back on D. It's a 0 possession game now, and the way these guys are scoring, we may see some more fireworks here in the last 2:55 of the half.
That's one thing you could not have happen. You're up a possession on the scoop and score, then you give up the pick 6. And we achieved nothing. We're tied at 14 apiece. There's a quick lateral. A little scary, and he'll start at the 21, TD.
That was a great user pick, too. He's using that Tavarius Moore. You can sub in safeties at linebacker. He's one of the fastest guys in the game, too. And he kind of baited him. He went to the right, then cut back to the left for that user pick, and he takes it to the crib. What a game we got so far.
TD, we used to say only in Madden that you would see all these guys out of position, running backs at wide receiver, all this crazy stuff. But nowadays, that's a lot of offensive and defensive.
I've seen Travis Kelce line up and do an RPO from shotgun, man. I've seen it. None of it's new anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Jordan can probably speak on it more. You see guys like Alvin Kamara out wide catching all these balls. You see all this position flexibility now in the NFL, and we've been seeing that in Madden for years, like you said.
Well, here's Brady. And he'll just have to throw it away. Smart decision. Maybe reeling a bit after that pick.
Yeah, that was big. That was really big time. That was a momentum shifter. And now the pressure's back on Coach Travis. What can he do? He looked so great on that first drive. Then that pick really put Detix back in the game.
You mentioned the hot route master. We see a few there. 2nd and 10. Brady to the corner route. Toe tap out at the 45. That's plus territory.
Got him in absolute dime on the sideline. Mike Evans off to a hot start.
He was good at Texas A&M. He's just improved that, and certainly you had Brady throwing you the football, and that changes. No slight to Jameis Winston, but that changes a lot of things down there in Tampa.
Jameis threw the ball a lot to Mike Evans. He threw a lot to the defense as well, and that's been the biggest difference down there in Tampa is that Brady doesn't turn it over, but he does take sacks, and there's that defense you talked about, too. I mean, when you talk about picking a strength where it's not the most elusive quarterback in the game in Jimmy Garoppolo, but now you get a chance for Bosa and these guys to pin their ears back and try and take over a game and get out of this half.
It's a loss of 10. 2nd and 20. Pushing them back across midfield. Brady going to work. Plenty of time in the pocket. They're only rushing 2.
Great defense.
Looking downfield. He needs to try to playmaker it up. Coming all the way back is Miller. And picks it off the turf. They're going to mark him down at the 18.
Great defense, but even better offense. The patience, the pocket presence. He rolls out right a little bit, waits for Scotty Miller to come back to the ball, and he throws it down the field, already in the red zone. It was good defense. Like you said, he only rushed 2. A lot of coverage. The patience was shown. He throws a nice completion.
Man, a good stop there. Running game just really hasn't able to go anywhere. We got a timeout. It's going to be on the defensive side. Certainly, Detix is thinking about getting the ball back here. 2nd and 13. They'll go to Jones again, and he'll roll forward to the 17. 1 timeout remaining now for Detix.
Goes a little zone alert right there up the middle. 1 timeout. Like you said, big 3rd and 9 for both guys here. Because if you can get a stop, get the ball back in Madden, 35 seconds is plenty of time. I know you won't have any timeouts, but you can still try to get the ball down for a field goal. So it's a big play for both guys.
Here's the 3rd and 9 at the 17. Still has all 3 timeouts. Pick up the first down if you get to around the 8-yard line. Slings it out of the backfield. That's Miller actually on a little delay coming across the middle. And he'll use his first timeout as they mark him down at the 5. So it's going to be 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. 2 timeouts in his pocket. And he really needs to use a majority of this 31 seconds. Goes play action. Back of the end zone. That's a laser.
That's a dot right there. He goes with the play action out of the goal line. But I'm very impressed with his clock management right there. He forced the defense to use all those timeouts. He only has one left. He took it down in 27 seconds, and then he throws a dot in the back of the end zone. What a drive. Man, I'm impressed by both these guys. They're playing phenomenal on offense.
You know, TD, when you were around this age, there wasn't any YouTube. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't. You had to come up with your own offensive scheme. Maybe you picked a few things up when you're playing your friends, or if you can get out to a local tournament. Now the best offenses and defenses, you still have to have the skill, but the game plans are out there.
100% correct. But to that point, Scott, it looks like both guys are kind of unique. A lot of times we see these bunch formations, these gun-tight formations as the meta, as the popular stuff when it comes to competitive Madden. But we've seen a lot of spread. We've seen a lot of single back. These guys have some unique game plans, and I like what I've seen so far.
No, you want to get points here. You got to be very careful not to give them up going the other way as they start to drive at the 32. Does have one timeout remaining. Will get the ball to start the second half for DTix, who's controlling the Niners. Goes to the sideline. Can't get out of bounds, though. And he's going to have to use a timeout at the 50. He should have maybe dove out of bounds.
Yeah, that's tough right there. He's like a yard from getting out of bounds. He does still have time here, but you can't get tackled in bounds. The clock will run. You got to get out of bounds right here. You got to look to the sidelines.
Here's Jimmy G for DTix. Garoppolo. Looking. Good user coverage. And that'll just float its way. 11 ticks remaining. What you think you're doing here, Jordan? You're trying to get to the sideline, I'm sure.
Yeah, just with the timeout situation, you've got to. The ball gets completed in bounds. It's the end of half, so you've got to be able to catch the ball and score or get out of bounds. Also, cannot take a sack.
So 2nd and 10 now. They'll mark it right at the 50-yard line. And a whole bunch of tight ends in there. We've yet to see Kittle really haul one in, and a sack. Just what Jordan Palmer said you couldn't take, and he does, and that's how the half will come to an end.
Yeah, perfect timing right there on that sack. He brought the blitz off the edge. He knew that he couldn't get sacked in bounds or tackled in bounds, brings the heat, and he goes to the half without giving up any points. Phenomenal job.
Well, Jordan, what you think? We got a 21-14 ball game. We've seen a little bit of everything.
21. It was a 14-0. Bounce back, ties it up. Another score. Fired up for the second half.
And Bradley Pinion kicks it away. There's Juszczyk. He'll lower his head and barrel his way to the 30, and that's where he'll start. And he's going to have an opportunity, TD, to drive down here and tie up the ball game.
Yeah, even though he did get stopped right there, the good thing is that he does get the ball to start the second half. You always want to kind of defer on that coin toss in Madden. He does just that. Wanted to see him go back to that ground game a little bit. We saw a couple of big runs he broke off with Mostert. See him go back to that, go back to those kind of post slant combo that he was having some success with in the first half.
Let's step back to the gun here, but we've certainly seen him change formations. Something that is not new to us, TD, in Madden. And a lot of it is because you're trying to get certain players out there at certain positions.
Exactly. And in Madden 21, the new personnel audibling. So you see him here, he subs in some running backs at receiver, and he's able to audible from like a trip set down to an I-form formation to be able to run the ball as well. So I love the way he's mixing up his personnel and audibling around.
He's got 49 yards now on the ground. Here comes a 2nd and 5, trailing by a touchdown. It's the PlayStation 4. Finally goes up top. And he has it, man, and Samuel tripped up at the 24.
Just a great play right there. It was man-to-man coverage. He motions over Samuel on that post route. Those post routes are good versus man-to-man. Just beat him over the top.
Where was the safety on that one, Jordan?
Not in a position to make a play. Those safeties, as a quarterback, you always got to know where they are on the field. And it's just as often as they get in and jump into stuff and make things happen, they also can get out of position. It's a risk-reward position for sure.
Like it might have even been a cover 0 at that point. And he swings it outside. No one's there. Can he make a move? Sheds a man off, and he's into the end zone.
What a play right there. It was cover 0. He brought the blitz, table route out of the backfield. Mostert in the open field. We talked about it already. Breaks a tackle, and he ties the ball game up.
Well, that blitz was giving him fits in the first half, but now he's using it to his advantage. And we are all level at 21 apiece here in the PlayStation 4 final. Now we get to see what Ghost Travis has here with the Buccaneers. These are what we call regs, regular teams. Well, a lot of the Madden Ultimate team, but certainly once a year. We love seeing the regs. I don't know. It's always, to me, I always feel like it's you kind of talked about it before, TD, like each team has its own personality and you got to play to those strengths.
Yeah, exactly. That's the fun of it. You build your scheme around the team you want to use. As you see, the Niners, he's doing it well. He's running the ball. He's being balanced. And then with Tampa, he's just airing it out with Brady. Incomplete there, but he's been just dialing it up with Brady on these corner routes, on these deep posts. So they are both playing to their personnel's best abilities.
It's against a cover 3 deep and almost able to complete it up under the coverage, but it just goes as an incomplete pass. That brings up 2nd and down, and he'll check it down to Scotty Miller, who's been a big part of his game. Jordan has almost been his security blanket.
Yeah, he has. We know all these big names on this Tampa Bay receiver room, and Scotty Miller just continues to be that security blanket and finding balls in this game and for Tampa Bay in general this year. And I would expect the same thing tonight in their big matchup.
Yeah, for Tampa, it used to be Adam Humphries, one of those little guys, one of those Hunter Renfrow kind of guys that you somehow forget about because they got all those stars surrounding them. But there's a great first down out to the 41. It's got a real opportunity to use a lot of clock here. Those 5-minute quarters always come into play. Here's Brady, especially with that longer play clock. And Brown, well, AB, will get to the 44, picks up a few. Here comes the 2nd and 6.
I love what he's doing out of the spread formation. Last 2 plays, he's ran double hitches from the slot receivers. Antonio Brown that time, Chris Godwin that played before. He's really spreading it out versus this zone defense, and he's not doing too much. He's checking it down when he needs to.
Godwin coming across the formation in motion. Brady again. Here's just a 2-player rush, and this time he throws it away smartly. Nobody was open.
Yeah, that was great defense. Everything was covered right there. Look at cover 3, made a couple adjustments, put some hard flats on the defense, and nothing was open. Smart decision to throw it away.
That's the thing about Brady. You're not too worried about old Tommy Ball game getting loose back there. And there's a pick.
Oh.
More once again. They won't catch him. Can Jones get the angle? A little stutter step, and he actually does pull him down at the 8-yard line.
Huge play. That's why you load up on defense and you don't just pick quarterbacks, man. These guys stepping up on defense, making plays.
And that's all user. It looked like he kind of faked in there like he was going to come inside on the blitz, and then he jumped back and picked it off. And here's a 1st and goal at the 8. So after being down 14-0, got an opportunity to maybe take the first lead of the ball game for King Detix.
You see him again trying to go with that little stop and go. I'm impressed with his stick work. That's what we call it in the Madden community. When you go with the controllers, you're great with those sticks. He's got 2 picks, user picks, with Tavarius Moore. That one was a game changer, and now he's trying to show off that run game.
Yeah, the first time he took it to the house, I thought he was going to take it to the cribbo there. And now he faces a 2nd goal, goes back to the running game. Maybe got 2. What are you doing, Jordan? 3rd and goal.
Well, you've been running the ball pretty efficiently. We'll see what we can get from a play action standpoint, and see if we can't get George Kittle involved here.
He's got the X factor out there. We've yet to really see him touch the football. They love the tight ends. He's going to go RPO, but we got a flag down. And it is going to be a legal man downfield. Boy, that felt like that came out pretty quick.
Yeah, that did.
That's
going to back him up to the 11.
Fortunate.
Like somebody just must have got going down there, because I felt like, he had the read and then just slinged it out there. And the flag was already thrown before he let go of the football. So 3rd and goal now, and he'll hand it off. Got one man to beat. Look at that speed. Touchdown.
Yeah, there it is again. That stick work. Just it cuts up the middle, then cuts back outside, stop and go. And Raheem Mostert, 95 speed, no one's catching him. That's a big time. That's what a decision too. What was it, 3rd and goal at the 11, and he ran the ball, and it pays off.
Well, they had DBs for days out there, Jordan, and he surprised them with the run.
Unbelievable discipline to go with the RPO the first time, get the penalty, and then to come back and turn around and have the guts to hand it off is impressive.
Well, he gets his first lead of the ball game, 28-21 after being down 14. I mean, I was ready to hand Ghost Travis the PlayStation 5. And my guy, King Dietrich TD, says not so fast.
Yeah, he really bounced back. Down 14-0, but still plenty of time here for Ghost Travis. He started off so hot, and then those two user picks. But it's getting to fourth quarter time. We'll see if he can clutch it up with Tom Brady.
And Brady looked like he got his offensive lineman caught up on him as he was throwing the football. So that takes us to the fourth quarter. Put your fours up. 5 minutes left in this one. And it's been a huge swing. A 28-7 run here by King Dietrich. And here's Brady on a 3rd and 1. He's going to go the air. And we've seen him go there before. A low pass to Mike Evans. First down at the 42.
And just keeps forcing the ball into the Mike Evans. Great decision, and hasn't let him down so far.
Well, they back off Evans over there on the left side. 4 minutes to go. Trying to tie things up. And they send the guy, the little click in to bring him in there at the last minute, TD, make him throw it away.
Yep, you click in that right stick, it's able to send a defender, usually in the zone, at the quarterback at the last second. This user by Moore in the middle is scary. He is afraid to throw in the middle of the field because he is looking phenomenal with that user, and I don't blame him. 2 user picks will do that to you.
And making a third. That's elevation. And a turnover at the 26-yard line. 3 interceptions, all by Moore, all user. Very impressive by King Dietrich.
Man, that is impressive stuff. 3 picks, all in the middle of the field, too. Like I just said, you don't want to throw in the middle of the field versus this guy. His stick work is phenomenal. Clicks on, right on that post route, and now he's in business. You got a Houston clock here.
A little stutter. Certainly, you kind of start getting nervous here for Ghost Travis after the interception with 2:25 to go. You know, you wonder, is he even going to get the football back?
Yeah, with how the second half has gone in this run game from Mostert, it's going to be tough, but there is time. You still got those 3 timeouts. And if you're on offense here, you're trying to get probably 2 first downs will seal it, but you definitely want to keep the ball on the ground, use this clock, try to pick up this first down.
They make it a 3rd and 10. Jimmy G slinging it to the outside, and Kittle for the first time will pull it in at the 47. He's only thrown the ball 7 times, and the first time Kittle's got his mitts on it.
Finally goes to his best weapon, George Kittle. He's got that tight end apprentice ability at the tight end spot. Look at this stick work again with that stop and go. Picks up a big first down.
And that's the thing that, you know, when you're talking about players that we've seen, a Henry, a young Draney, these are guys that have tremendous user skills, and he has them similar to young Draney, both on the defensive side, and now you're seeing it in the running game. And if you got that, you can compete with anybody.
Without a doubt. Look, you can have all the football knowledge, you can have all the schemes, the money plays, but if you can't learn how to control your defender, especially control your running back, be able to maneuver him around with those controls and that stick work, that is such an added bonus. A lot of guys are freestyle players. You know, we've seen guys over the years can go problem right, serious mode. These guys aren't known necessarily for their schemes in the competitive scene, but their stick work is what separates them from the pack.
So 28-21, Scott Cole TD, Jordan Palmer along with you. That one goes absolutely nowhere, but right now you're just trying to run the clock here, and I'm not sure why Ghost isn't using a timeout, because that 40-second play clock it's devastating every time you let it run down.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Why he's not using these timeouts? It's already down to 33 seconds. I don't know. That was terrible clock management right there by Ghost Travis. And you see Dietrich is fine with taking this clock down. He calls that timeout. This is a horrible situation right now for Ghost Travis. It's going to be very difficult to come back from. He should have called those timeouts earlier.
It's possibly the play of the game, plus getting close to field goal range, which would ice it as well. Jimmy G in the gun, 3rd and 5. He'll hand it off once again. And good play. Stop him at the 34. Still not calling timeouts. And finally, Coach Travis will burn one. And maybe this game is going to be settled here on a 51-yard field goal.
Interesting play call here, not going for it. It's not an easy field goal.
Robbie Gould from 50 plus. It's up, and it is good. And the lead is pushed to 10 with just 19 seconds to go. And this has just been absolutely phenomenal, TD. The down 14 to now up 10.
Clutch jeans, ice water in his veins. That is a clutch kick to go up 2 possessions, only 19 seconds left to possibly win the championship here. That's a big-time kick.
As a Bears fan, I wish he would have played just a little bit longer. Might have been a few more playoff wins out there for those monsters of the Midway. 17 seconds to go, but the story right now is King Detix. I mean, usually when you're down 14, you might be packing it up, tipping a cap to Ghost Travis, but he's fought all his way back, and I think a lot of it's just confidence in his user game. TD, he's given nothing. That's the crazy thing is one guy in the middle of the field can take away not a half, not a third, but maybe 75% of your passing routes.
Yeah,
and he's going to GG.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Especially the way he bounced back. Probably in his first big Madden game at a young age, his composure, the way he fought back, and especially his user ability on defense was phenomenal.
Well, Johnny, we got the PlayStation 4 in the books, and it was a good one.
What a matchup. What a comeback. The King takes his crown. I mean, down 14-0, outscoring Ghost 31-7 the rest of the way. I mean, Tyler, when it comes to King Detix, the M and MVP has to stand for more. Tavarius Moore, 3 picks.
Listen, if I'm playing this kid, I don't want to throw to the middle of the field versus him. His user skills with Tavarius Moore won him the game. The way he bounced back, those 3 user picks, just phenomenal defense all the way around.
And Scott, we certainly saw there, with every Madden championship, there always comes down to the minuscule things. The clock management there by Ghost, little questionable towards the end.
Yeah, it's almost like he didn't know what he wanted to do. He's trying to count down, how many seconds I'm going to have. I tell you what, we've seen it so many times in regs. That 40-second play clock makes a huge difference in those last final few minutes.
No question. And of course, Tyler, when it comes down to it, King Detix, he fought through the loser's bracket, defeated Ghost once to get to this moment, and he finds a way to pick off Tom Brady 3 times. User picks, might I add. It's safe to say he earned this.
Oh, without a doubt. It was a long road to get here. He definitely earned it. And, it was his defense. Offense, he didn't have to do too much. He had a great ground game, but it was that stick work, too. You saw those stop and goes with Mostert. Just impressed, really, on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, congratulations to King Detix. We're going to check out some facts about our winner. King Detix, 10th grader named TJ Vesper. He's a first-time Madden champion. Guys, that's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, for being your first time, being down 14 in the biggest Madden game you've ever played. I know the folks at NFL Flag that compete, they're high competitors. When most of us maybe would have just, given up being down 2 touchdowns, he comes back and shows you why he plays at a champion level and actually increased his gameplay being down 14.
No question. The King takes his crown. What an NFL Flag event this has been so far. We have our Xbox Championship coming up very, very soon. But right now, we're going to check out. See, one thing NFL Flag likes to do is blend gaming with NFL athletes. And so we have a very special interview for you right now.
Hey, this is Chase Young, and this is why NFL Flag is important to me. It starts early. You can start real young playing it. I feel like it's real good for kids to work on teamwork, just being around their peers, and starting that competitive drive real early. And I feel like that's what it did for me. One of the reasons why I still have that competitive edge on me today. Flag was just the first stepping stone for me playing ball at all. My dad started me in it. It was fun. I mean, it was my favorite thing to do. Coming up in elementary school. I mean, especially playing quarterback. I liked when the dude was blitzing me. It felt good that I could put a move on him, run outside the pocket, and just deliver a football. I feel like for a lot of kids who future is skill position, I feel like it can definitely start their development early with just running routes, catching balls, and just getting the real concepts down of being a skilled player. Hope you enjoyed learning about what makes NFL Flag the perfect way to get involved in youth football. Visit NFLflag.com for more information. Now it's time for us to head back to the action in the NFL Flag Madden 21 Youth Club Championship.
All right, we are back with the second half of the NFL Flag Madden 21 Youth Club Championship, and this is all about Xbox. And Tyler Davis, as we saw in the PS4 finals, when it's double elimination, you just got to keep playing because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you never know. It's a long road coming out of that loser's bracket. You can get a lot of momentum when you come out of that loser's bracket when you get into a grand finals. But now we get the grand finals on the Xbox. It's a big pressure situation. Who can come up clutch?
Indeed. And, of course, when it came to King D-Tix and Ghost Travis with PS4, that was the rubber match for them. Well, we have a bit of a rematch here as well. Scott, with the Seahawks, we have Dez 805, and with the Cowboys, we have Wyatt 2497. Dez has been undefeated throughout, including a victory over Wyatt.
Yeah, we'll see if you can keep that up. I mean, one thing I've noticed here in the finals, you've had all NFC teams looking pretty strong. But the question is hey, you got to beat them again, right? I know you're undefeated. In fact, Wyatt would have to beat them twice here, in the grand finals. So at least Dez knows, hey, if I don't get a win here, I still have one more game in my pocket. Maybe that will relieve some of the pressure in this big game.
And Jordan Palmer, we have Russell Wilson taking on Dak Prescott. That's a dream quarterback matchup right there.
Yeah, it really is. When these guys are healthy and playing, these guys are two of the best to do it. They can extend the play and make things happen with their legs, buy some more time to push the ball down the field, but they can also get rid of it really quick with timing and accuracy. So these are two of the best young quarterbacks in this league, and the way they move is going to translate very well over to this championship game.
No doubt it's going to be nonstop action, but first, let's check out how these two players got here.
Well, it's the Xbox final. It's going to be the Seahawks with Dez 805 and the Cowboys controlled by Wyatt 2497. And I tell you what, TD, we know why you got to choose the Seahawks, but a little surprised to maybe see the Cowboys here in Madden 21.
Yeah, Cowboys aren't a bad team in Madden 21, though. They do have some speed. They have a great running back tandem. Zeke, one of the best running backs in the game, but then Pollard, one of the fastest running backs in the game. So this is a guy you can kind of spell a little bit. They have a phenomenal receiving core. You're talking about guys like CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup. So they have the weapons on offense. The one thing is their defense, not one of the best in the game. So we'll see if you can get some stops versus that Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I would assume, Jordan, containing Russell Wilson, it's part of anyone's game plan when they're facing the Seahawks.
Well, it has to be. I work with a lot of quarterbacks from, famous guys playing on Sundays on down to youth quarterbacks. And one of the things that I teach every quarterback to do that Russell Wilson does a great job of is when he gets outside the pocket and his eyes are downfield, he's either throwing it or as he crosses the line of scrimmage, he's pump faking it and running it and makes everybody on defense when he's scrambling attached to a receiver and take their eyes off of Russell. If they don't take their eyes off Russell and they come to try and tackle him, that's when he pushes the ball down the field. I would see that being a identical threat in this championship game. What happens when the play breaks down? That could be the story of this championship matchup.
Well, they got their audibles all set up. Well, good sportsmanship there, as you like to see. There must have been a gentleman's agreement before the game to make that a delay of game as they were getting all set up and ready to go. 5-minute quarters. You're going to see that huge play clock. We'll see if that comes into play here, TD. And for some reason, I always like seeing the Cowboys in those road blues. You don't get to see the Cowboys in those blue jerseys going up against the highlighter seafoam of the folks in Seattle. And just like that, Dak Prescott goes to work with a quick gain of 5.
Yeah, two pretty cool uniforms here. And you see first place in that trips tight end formation, one of the most popular formations in Madden. That and gun bunch, the two best this year. See him curl flat combo on that first play. A flat route curl, and then he had the running back in a little angle route, check down to the flat for a nice pickup.
Here's Prescott again from Mississippi State. Rolling out here, and this time he'll just throw it away as coverage downfield.
Yeah, that's one thing that you always tell quarterbacks in real life is don't make a bad play worse. If there's nothing there, go ahead and check it. Go ahead and toss it out of bounds and live to play another down.
I saw that on the PlayStation 4 side of things. You know how big a turnover can be when you're just talking about a 20-minute game. Prescott gets it outside of Pollard, and he can't hang on, and we might see the unicorn of Madden. Nope, he's not going to punt it here, TD.
He's going to go for it. In Madden, you don't see guys punt a lot. Even though he's on his own 30. This isn't the real NFL. Guys are going to go for it. I don't like the route combo he had. It looked like he had 5 curls underneath coverage right there by the Seahawks defense. Nothing open now. Big play in the game. 4th and 5 on his own 30. Momentum shifter potentially.
A shotgun here for Prescott. What does Wyatt have for us here on 4th down? Quick throw right down the seam to the 50-yard line. That's a big one, Jordan.
That was huge, and I love the timing of it. Right now, ball's out. Great diving grab, gets 2 hands on it, rolls over on the line early.
So that'll be a fresh set of downs after the big 4th down conversion. Mark it right at midfield. Pollard off to the right. And Pollard just right up the gut, gashes him to the 37.
Yeah, I love the play call right there. So you see him come out in that trips, but he audibles over to a tight formation, little halfback base, power right up the middle. Tony Pollard, one of the fastest backs in the game, picks up the first down. Great job.
Comes out in trips, but then he'll audible down. Nothing new about that in Madden, as we got a 1st and 10. Struggled on the first couple plays, but he's had back-to-back big ones. Prescott extending, and he'll just throw it away and face another day.
Great coverage defense right there. Just nothing doing. He had a dig route, motioned over a post, turned into a corner route deep down the sidelines, but that zone defense was all over it. Nothing doing.
Comes Cooper across the formation. CeeDee Lamb out there as well. He's had a good rookie campaign. Prescott. Well, he was late on X.
Yeah, I was about to say that. He had the slant. If he just waited about 1 more second, need a little more patience. I love the route combo right there. You had the crosser going deep to the sidelines and the slant behind it. Just got to throw that slant in there a second later.
So here comes a big 3rd down. I assume on the edge of field goal range, not quite in it. Good user. And then he has to throw it away again. I don't know the range here. 54 seems long, TD.
Yeah, this is a tough kick. Greg Zuerlein, Greg the leg. So
well, you got Greg the leg.
Yeah. But the wind is going back towards them. This is a tough kick.
And just over the bar. So Greg the leg gives him an opening field goal. Now he'll take it, but you got to think in Madden, you don't need a lot of field goals. You certainly need touchdowns.
Yeah, that defense was impressive too. He didn't give up anything. He was just kind of playing a lot of coverage. It looked like he really struggled to move the ball on offense there for Wyatt. Just kind of a couple underneath passes and forced him to kick the field goal.
Jordan, we did an event one time with Josh Scobie of the Jags. And one time I said, well, he has to settle for 3. And Scobie was like, no, you get 3. You don't settle for 3, you get 3. He was really defensive about that.
Very defensive, yeah. Former teammate of mine in Jacksonville. Low-key great golfer.
Yeah, that's all he wanted to talk about. I was like, well, we got to do some Madden. Are we cool to talk about that for a bit? And he's like, yeah. We had a good time. 99% of the folks that you meet out there are just really, really good guys. It's good to see. Here's a 2nd and 1 on the opening possession here for Dez. It's funny that, Dez is, with the Seahawks. Maybe he should be with the Cowboys. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting on a tangent there, TD. But Metcalf! And he will haul it in at the 38.
Yeah, crossing route right there to Metcalf. You see that star lit up under Metcalf. He's one of the superstar ability players in the game. Got that deep crossing ability, so just wide open. I mean, there was no one within 5 yards of him. That you can take that all day.
It's been kind of the rebirth of Calvin Johnson almost. I hope he takes that as a compliment because Metcalf has been having an incredible season, Jordan.
He has, and anytime you get him in a one-on-one situation, you got to feel good about it. And Seattle, I mean, they just have, with Lockett, there's so much speed there, and DK is just so unique. And then there's speed right here when they allow Russell Wilson to get out and make a play. Woo!
Well, you talked about it. Boy, that is a laser on the run. And there's our first touchdown of the ball game here on the Xbox side of things. And of course, it's still on Xbox One, but they're playing for that next-gen console, TD. Good pass, and especially a good score with a lot on the line.
And Jordan talked about it so much in the intro about Russell Wilson, what exactly he does. And you saw it on that play in Madden. He has that escape artist ability, just rolls out with that escape artist, allows him to get outside. I mean, wide open on the crossing route. Just a phenomenal play, using Russell Wilson to the best of his abilities.
And Jordan, those are the guys that the youngsters of growing up watching. It's I'm not saying the days of the pocket passer are getting limited, but it seems more than ever that you really have to, just like Patty Mahomes and Russell Wilson, you sort of have to be able to do it all nowadays.
Yeah, you do. I've been saying for a while now that the future of the quarterback position is the quarterback's ability to create time and space. And you can do that by moving in the pocket. You can do that by leaving the pocket. So some of the best young players in this league, I've worked with Josh Allen for the last 5 years, and just the emergence of him as a runner and as using all of his athleticism and being able to push the ball down the field. I mean, that's really the future of the game. I don't think we're going to see too many big, stiff guys with a big arm who are going to be drafted high anymore, really.
And there's along the sideline out to the 39-yard line. And as we move to the second quarter, I've always felt like Aaron Rodgers didn't get enough credit for the mobility he has. And some of that mobility that I'm speaking of is inside the pocket. Guys like Breeze and Rodgers just know how to move, inside that pocket. They're a pocket passer, so to speak, but they just have a great presence about them, Jordan.
Yeah, and we make it so much about 40 times, when we're actually going through the NFL draft and all that stuff. But the guy that Dak Prescott took over for, Tony Romo, he used to buy time. He was a magician in the pocket. It was feel and awareness and knowing when to move, when to stay. Oh, and Pollard up the
long run. Yeah, Jordan taking it to the cribbo, and a good response there after giving up the long throw from Russell Wilson. Comes back, pounded in on the ground game, TD.
Yeah, we saw it earlier. Tony Pollard right up the middle. This time he goes untouched, right up the middle, all the way on that base. He loves that tight formation, that little power up the middle. It's been big time for him and allows him to take the lead.
It's so crazy when you think about Madden sometimes. You know how good Zeke is. But as we saw in the PlayStation 4 final, that speed at running back, the stop and go, the straight ahead speed, it's just huge in regs, because in Ultimate Team, TD, you're going to have speed all over the field, but in regs, you got some weaknesses out there on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, speed is everything when it comes to regular teams in Madden. It's been like that forever. That's why you always want to find these teams that have that speed. Cowboys do have it, especially on offense. Seahawks have it as well, as we've seen. So speed is the most important factor when it comes to regular teams in Madden for sure.
Well, Jordan Palmer talked about it off the rip that Russell Wilson is going to be the X factor. He's 4 for 4. Now for Wyatt, down by 3, and just a smart job throwing it away. Great decision making.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't make a bad play worse. We saw in the game earlier, the other championship game, a sack, fumble, scoop, score, touchdown, just completely changed the momentum of the game. And it's so easy to do that when you got a guy coming at your quarterback on his front side. Smart to just get that thing out of bounds and get to the next play.
Here's Wilson on 3rd and 4. Good job covering the drag. He'll go to the corner route, DK once again. All the way down to the 39. Fresh set of downs, and he's in business.
Beautiful play right there. He had that corner route. He actually motioned over another receiver on an underneath drag route, so it's kind of like a flood concept going to the wide side, hits the corner route on the sideline. That's beautiful play design right there by the Seahawks offense.
Wilson now steps up in the pocket, and I think that's going to count as a run with a loss of 3. It looked like he might have broken the line of scrimmage. Nevertheless, it's the 2nd and 12. And he'll bunch it up. Boy, we've seen this formation a ton over the last couple of years of competitive Madden. And he throws across his body. It's a It's a tight end delay, TD, to our friend Greg Olson.
Yeah, and lately in Madden 21, that's been a very popular concept. A lot of the pros are running that. So that tight end delay route, you kind of roll out, you release the tight end at the last second, and he's able to convert it. It's become very popular. I'm impressed. It's a high-level Madden play right there.
Using the speed to his advantage. 1st and 10. Ball at the 25, 2:40 to go in the half. And now you have to think about Jordan maybe using a lot of this clock here in these next 25 yards.
Yeah, not just how do you score, but how are you the only team that gets a chance to score? So much of NFL quarterbacks spend the offseason studying end of half, end of game. How do other great quarterbacks manage these situations?
Well, there's Olsen, gets the catch, rolls up, stands up.
Yeah.
And we hit the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, so there's one way to stop the clock right there. Yeah, both teams looks like still have 3 timeouts.
Dallas with 3, Seattle with 2 now.
2.
As we get to the 2-minute warning. And we'll see if he just strikes. He's going to check it down here, and Dorsett spin his way to the 8-yard line. Can still pick up a first down here.
Yeah, and if you're just doing some math in your head, this is when you want to slow down. You don't want to leave time on the clock here. You want to be snapping this at 2 or 3 seconds left on the play clock.
He's going to go ahead and go for a quick snap here, which I think is a mistake, but Metcalf walks in. You do get the score, but as Jordan said, TD, you leave a lot of time on the clock. Yeah.
There was 20 seconds on that play clock, so just figure there's 129 left in the half. Call it 127 here. Yeah, 129. So really could have got it down to 109 and really limited. That could be the difference in the Cowboys getting 1, 2, or even 3 plays off on this ensuing drive.
Yeah.
That's something, TD, that we see from a competitive player side. There's a maturation, right? The older players seem to take a little more time, and I think maybe some lack of experience got the best of them here.
And I was going to say, it's so cool because, like in the real NFL, clock management is so important. That's what separates a lot of the pro Madden players as well. That's why you see guys hiking at 1 on the play clock, taking that clock down before the second half. You don't want to give your opponent any time. It's a thing in the NFL that really translates to Madden. It's an overrated thing in competitive Madden. A lot of guys don't take advantage of. That's why you see the same pro Madden players winning these big tournaments, because they know the situational football and the clock management, which is crucial.
And even before we got to that,
Dubby.
Yeah, even before we got to that 2-minute warning, he had an opportunity to just let it go to the 2-minute warning. Instead, he ran a play, got it out of bounds. So even just like stacking those plays together, again, end of half, end of game. Most of the games in the NFL on the competitive side, like on average, games are decided by like 3, 4, or 5 points. So when you really look at it, it comes down to just who handled each possession better. It's not just about touchdowns and sacks and interceptions. It's about who handled each of these situations better. It really is chess.
Yep.
Yeah, that
same thing in Madden.
Yeah, that last, in traditional football, you're talking about the last 4 minutes on each side of the half. And Madden, it's definitely the last 2 minutes, of the half, and the first 2 minutes of the half. When you can, I call it double dipping the chip, when you can get a score and then get the kickoff and go down and score again. That's a big part of it. Well, here's a 3rd and 10 for Wyatt, down 4, and a good job squeezing it in there. And Amari able to get out of bounds. They will stop the clock with 1:12 to go. Ball at the 43. He's got plenty of time.
Yeah, love the play design right there. Again, he goes to that slant post combo, motions over the slant, kind of threw a low pass right there to kind of squeeze it in. Gets out of bounds too. So that was a great play right there on offense.
There's Amari again. Had him on the drag. He's looking deep, and he'll just throw it away.
Yeah,
had man coverage down there, but none of those guys were. That kind of takes you back to Madden 16 or 17. Those one-on-one coverages rarely work anymore.
Yeah, you can't really get those aggressive catches. Good defense again. He's going to try to thread it.
And it's nearly picked off. I mean, it was actually was caught by the corner, but he was not in bounds. So now a 3rd and 10. He did have RB right in the middle of the field, wide open.
He's really stalled these last 2 plays here. Great coverage defense. Might have him.
Goes up top, and there's Gallup.
Oh.
He was looking for the quick hitter, and he found it.
That was sweet. That was really sweet. Looked like cover 3, kind of a cover 3 bomb, we call it in Madden. He had the corner out to bring out the deep zones, the streak just right behind it, pass lead to the outside. That's a big-time play.
And that's huge, Jordan. You know, a lot of these quarterbacks and wide receivers kind of throw it where they aren't. You know, throw it in those open spaces. And, you know, that's why a lot of the greats are great, because they can put the ball exactly where it needs to be.
Yeah, so often you have to throw people open. We think accuracy is just hitting a guy when he's open, but when you go from college to pro, for real quarterbacks, I mean, it's about throwing people open. You have to manufacture completions, and it's with accuracy, but it's also with your ability to just put it to a spot where a guy can then go get it and adjust. Even if you practice it a different way, can you go and adjust and make it right? In this game right here, there's wideouts on both of these teams that can do that, and quarterbacks that can as well.
Yeah, I think at the college level, that's why they were so excited about Joe Burrow. And of course, Trevor Lawrence coming into this year's draft. Those are guys that, you know, already have some pro-type decision-making as young players.
Yeah, and I trained Joe Burrow last year for the draft, and I got Trevor Lawrence landing Thursday training for the draft this year. So I'm right in close with these guys to see it up close and personal.
Well, TD knows I have to put as many Clemson players in every broadcast I do. It's just my thing. 17-14 though, but as we were talking, he's worked the ball all the way down to the 21-yard line. Still has a timeout remaining. So he talked about his clock management here, but he might have an opportunity to score 2 times in the final 2 minutes.
Yeah, we talked about that clock management. He gave Russell Wilson way too much time now. It had about 53 seconds. And you see the escape artist here. Looks like he's going to throw it away smart. But on the previous play, it was just patience. He waited. Eventually, Tyler Lockett went up the field, wide open, got that big play. And now you're in field goal range. You don't want to make a mistake here, because at the very least, you can tie this ball game up going into half.
It's 10 of 12. His only 2 incompletions were 2 throwaways. That's how accurate he's been with Russell Wilson. When you're talking about Dez, he goes to the corner, and it's nearly picked off.
Oh man, I thought he might have had behind him. I thought he might have had the touchdown, and then a great click on right there by the Cowboys to get that user pick, but he couldn't get those feet down. Kind of a 50-50 play right there.
So here comes the 3rd and 10. You got points in your back pocket here. You don't want to give that 3 away. And he has the fortitude and the acumen to throw it away one more time. And it looks like with 19 seconds to go, we are going to be all tied up at 17 apiece. Pretty good ball game so far, Jordan, over here on Xbox.
It is. Out here at CenturyLink Stadium, one of the loudest stadiums in the NFL, one of the craziest environments in the NFL. I'll tell you what, when they raise that flag before kickoff, that 12th man flag, it can't get any louder than you think any place could possibly get. All of a sudden, it just goes up a couple more decibels. That place, you literally feel how loud it is there. It's unbelievable.
My buddy Doug Baldwin gave me the pleasure of being there on the field, on the sideline for a Monday Night Football game. He said, you know, one of their people gave me some earplugs, and I'm like, what do I need these for? I found out really quick why I needed those. Second quarter here with just 15 seconds to go. Got to be careful here on both sides of the ball. It's to Jarwin, and he'll use one of those 3 timeouts. Has 2 remaining, 8 seconds to go. Maybe enough for 2 plays, CD.
I was wondering if we were going to see him be aggressive or just kind of run the clock out. But it looks like he's going to be aggressive. He comes out swinging first play, scrambles out, checks it down to the curl route. You got to go deep here. Look to the sidelines, maybe a crossing route or a corner route.
A lot of DBs out there. Goes to Jarwin again. Remember, he's got Greg the leg. They're going to mark him down at the 39. It'd be a 56-yarder from there. And, yeah, he's going to get his boot out, and he's got the wind with him.
Got the wind, yep.
I've already seen him make it from 54, and this one is up, and it's good. 20-17. We saw a myriad of points, Jordan, in that final 2 minutes.
I tell you what, this has been a shootout. I feel like we had a whole half in the last minute and a half of the second quarter here. We're still just barely starting the second half. Over-under on this game's got to be 100.
You know, Wyatt's down 3 here, TD, but he's actually up a possession if he can go down here and get a score.
Yeah, that was a clutch drive right there at the end, though. I mean, what he had, 12 seconds, and he got into field goal range? That was phenomenal. But yeah, now we see Russell Wilson back in that trips. I mean, like Jordan said, this has been a shootout. Those last few minutes, some high-paced action.
Well, Dez is yet to run the football. Every play has been through the air. And here's Wilson again. Maybe he'll use his legs. That's the first rushing yards of the game. It's a gain of 10. But the slide down, they'll mark him just shy of the yard to gain, second inches.
Yeah, you saw that escape arse ability right there. Rolls out. That escape arse ability allows him to roll out quicker than most quarterbacks in the game and just picks up 9 yards right there. He's starting to use clock, too. You see him hiking low on the play clock.
There's Wilson. Maybe he's trying to shorten the game up. And there's DK Metcalf. Unaccounted for, found himself in the tender spaces of the zone.
Yeah, not a bad idea to get him involved here. I mean, this guy is such a one-on-one matchup nightmare. He's big and physical at the same time. If he does get loose, I mean, T, I'm curious, what is his speed on this game?
Yeah, he's one of the fastest as well. I believe he's like 94 or 95. They also updated him throughout the year. He didn't start the year as good as he is now. He wasn't even a superstar to start the year with that ability, but now he got it later in the year, so he's definitely one of the best in the game.
He's still yet to throw an incompletion. He's 12 of 16 with 4 throwaways. So when he's decided to go downfield, he has delivered. 2nd and 10 now. Trailing by 3. Dez will roll to the left. Throws it back. There's Olsen once again on that little tight end play.
Man, I got to admit, this guy is electric to watch on offense. He is fun to watch. He's got dots, as we call them, lasers left and right. He's running around the quarterback. He's got the tight end on delay fade routes. Man, he is prolific at passing the football.
Well, he has not lost this entire tournament, and I think we're seeing why. Even though he's down right now, he's threatening to take the lead, and just been really impressed at him throwing it away. He has not made a bad read yet.
No, it has not. But this is where it gets tough. It gets stingy down here within that 15-yard line. You know, the field really shrinks. It's tough. You got to try to, throw some low passes, some curl routes. I maybe run the ball a little bit here, even though I know he doesn't want to do that.
Goes with a screen. That's a rarity in Madden. And he'll get dragged down at the 13. Here comes a 3rd and 8. That play just doesn't work in Madden, Jordan. There's just
Why is that?
No one gets fooled.
Yeah, you don't see those screens a lot. For some reason, the blocking just isn't good on it. They kind of get like when you throw it, you can't just take off immediately. It's kind of a delayed animation. They're just not very effective when it comes to Madden.
Well, there's something about misdirection, and I assume a screen is a little bit of a misdirection play as we're getting to a 4th and 8 here, and a bit of a field goal fest. And that's an easy one. Right down Main Street, we're tied at 20.
Yeah, both these guys look great on offense when, they have plenty of field. And then it seems when they get into that red zone area, get closer, it gets really stingy. And both guys have had to kick field goals. And, I think whoever loses this game is going to look back and say, man, I wish I could have punched those in for touchdowns.
Well, they're in a battle right now, but just the lack of a running game for Dez. Tell you what, you get down there, as you mentioned, and you can't put the ball on the ground. It really makes it tough with all those DBs out there. Well, here's Wyatt. He'll take over on his own 25. We played the first 2 quarters, half of the third here. We've accomplished nothing. It's tied at 20 apiece. Prescott all day. That'll be a gain of 2.
Yeah, we'll see if he can just get methodical here. Can he just put a drive together, continue to take checkdowns? Can he get the run game going, and then be selective when he has an opportunity to push the ball down the field?
I think he's got shoe clock on, TD.
Yeah, looks like it. Trying to shrink this game. He's trying to get down, take this clock, and get a game-winning field goal.
He's looking downfield, nothing there, and just has to throw it away.
So, Scott, the one thing I will say about Wyatt, it seems like he had a lot of success with that Tony Pollard run, and it seems like he's playing more into Dez's game, just passing it now every play. I'd like to, it's 3rd down now, but I would like to see him go back to that ground game that he did have some success with.
He was really challenging the user with that old school power play. Prescott looking again, and now here's 4th down. What are you going to do?
I just think when you're in 3rd and 10 like that, you just got to get a piece back. you can't, or 3rd and 8. You got to, even if Dak just ran right there for 3 or 4 yards and you got to 4th and manageable, maybe you can make a different decision. But throwing it away in those long distance situations.
Both these guys, Jordan, really holding on to the ball, looking downfield.
Mm-hmm.
And that doesn't give you a lot of options.
No, they are. If there was a real quarterback coach in the area, he'd be saying 1, 2, 3, go. Go through your progression and then run.
Which we know both of these quarterbacks can certainly do. Also with a bit more speed. A lot of that is that escape artist ability that TD has been telling you about all ball game long. And now it's the drive that Dez has been waiting on. Tie ball game with a chance to go down here and take the lead. And he'll throw it away.
Yeah, good defense again. Both these guys, they really just want to go deep every play. You said it, Scott. That's what it looks like. No, these guys don't want to check down. They don't want to run the ball. They just want big play after big play. But it's going to come down to who can make those simple reads and methodically move the ball down the field, like Jordan said, and get in the field goal range.
Yeah, they're swinging for the fences, but you need to get some singles and doubles. Got to get some guys on base.
Yeah, just got to get some momentum together. Certainly he finds Dorsett there, the former Hurricane. And the clock's on the move at the 49 now. He's a huge Seahawks fan. Rocking the Seahawks here. And, of course, TD, he's got to know about the greatest Seahawks Madden player ever, and that's young Kiv. He likes to throw the ball as well.
Yeah, he's the best in the business when it comes to competitive Madden, young Kiv. And he finally ran the ball right there. His first run attempt of the game. He got 4 yards, so not a bad idea. A little inside zone. He might go back to it. No.
I mean, I almost, if we were all together, I would be like, oh, you probably chose the wrong play. When you see somebody run the ball, you're like, oh, did you choose the wrong play?
And on that play,
that can happen on your audibles. You end up choosing the dive.
Yeah, he had the crossing route open on that last play, too, and he got hit at the last second. It would have been a big-time play. He's throwing it again.
Goes in the corner! No!
Oh,
couldn't get the second foot in bounds, and now he's got a decision.
He didn't get the feet down. That's huge. And here we go. This is the biggest play of the game.
4:49 to go. Tie ball game. 4th and 6 at the 45. Wilson looking, throwing to the sideline, and Metcalf. No, it's a turnover on downs.
Oh.
It's a game of inches. and when you're playing virtually, Jordan, it's a game of milliseconds.
It really is. We grew up as a kid here, and it's a game of inches, and it's all 4 quarters. Play till the clock says 0, and it ends up being the case, and ends up being the case in Madden, ends up being the case. I watch these playoff games, and you see the Browns driving versus the Kansas City Chiefs, and Higgins dives for the pylon and fumbles an inch in front of the pylon. It literally is a game of inches.
Well, I can see you getting involved and mention the Clemson players. I appreciate that, but in a negative spotlight. And then we got a negative gain. Push it back to a 3rd and 10. 4 minutes to go. He's been trying that running game, TD. And now it faces a 3rd down. Prescott slings it. And that's a great job settling down in the zone and picking up the first down.
Great play right there. Goes back to that curl flat, and the curl was wide open. The defender ran out on the flat row, kind of low past it, picks up the first down. That's such a backbreaker for that Seahawks, though. 2 plays in a row. He had huge plays and couldn't get the feet down. And now the Cowboys are in complete control.
He's got an opportunity here. But he could drive it down and maybe even set himself up for a game-winning field goal. Teams with still 3 timeouts remaining. There's Pollard. And old Bobby Wagner hangs on for dear life.
See him starting to use that clock, too. That clock management, we talked about it all game, how it's so important. He hiked the ball at about 3 on the play clock right there. That's what you want to do now. Get this game under the 2-minute warning, get a couple first downs, and get a game-winning field goal.
He's outside, little quick hitter on the edge there. Picks up 2. 3rd and 7.
Big break right there for Dez. He went out of bounds. That was huge. Clock stops.
Prescott. And throws it away. Here comes 4th down. Well, he needed the 4-minute drill, but now he's facing him 4th down. No way. Are we really seeing this? Greg the Leg does have the win. Andy Dalton with the hold. It's up, and it is good. Oh, my goodness. Greg the Leg is a weapon.
Huge kick. But left a
One from
lot
54,
of time on the clock.
56, and now 57, Jordan.
Unbelievable. This is going to be huge for the Seattle offense. How do they end this game with the ball in their hands? There's 2 minutes, 42 seconds left. Both teams have a few timeouts. So if you're going to get tackled and you're near the sideline, this is when you want to get tackled inbounds. You won't want to. You'd rather take you have a quarterback run for a yard or two than just throw it away, just simply for the ability to keep that clock running.
There's Wilson. He dials up a dippity dot to the 50. Jordan, what's the difference right now? Are you kind of more of in a 4-minute offense with all these timeouts instead of a 2-minute?
I would be, yeah. I would, right there, the risk of that maybe not being in bounds and the ability to run and get 10 or 12 yards and slide in bounds, it's huge.
Well, he listens to you here and he'll slide down. Former NC State baseball player. We'll get to the 39-yard line, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, it's a big-time run right there. He's been hitting with that crossing route on the sidelines. Wyatt hasn't had an answer for it. Finally plays good coverage against it, but leaves the middle wide open for Russ to take off, pick up a first down. And now he's in complete control with the clock on his side.
We haven't seen him use a running game. Maybe he'll just continue to use Russell Wilson. And he goes out of bounds.
You got to stay in bounds.
You got to stay in bounds and slide right there. Have to.
Wasn't worth the extra yard or two.
I would have taken it from 153 to about 125. That's about 30-second differential. When you have this much time left, there's less than 2 minutes, 30 seconds. And 30-plus seconds on a play clock could make this half, the end of this game, only have 3 or 4 more plays.
And he uses a timeout there to just get a little bit of energy back into Russell Wilson's legs. And he throws it away.
Oh, boy.
These are the mistakes you've been talking about, Jordan.
Yeah, another one right there. Run, slide, keep the clock running. Get that down
or
in
even
distance.
just forcing timeouts. Forcing timeouts is a
huge
huge part
ran
of the
for
2
first
minute.
down, too. Just 2nd and 2, you got to get a first down.
Should have just ran a couple inside zones. He's sticking to the air attack.
Well, he'll pick up the first down here and go out of bounds.
This is
I get it. He's trailing in the game. I get it, but this is just. He has a plan. You know what I'm saying? He has a plan in his mind. Well, we're going to trust it. 2nd and 10.
He's undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't lost a game in the tournament. And there's a sack. You got to be careful to hold on to the football. Scott Cole, Tyler Davis. Of course, the voice you've been hearing is Jordan Palmer, who's been joining us for the broadcasts and bringing us all kind of amazing insights. 2nd and 9. Here comes the blitz. And Russell Wilson can't get away.
Yeah, that's a perfect time to dial up the blitz, honestly. You first force him to a 3rd and 20 now. You take that time off the clock. What a dial up right there by the Cowboys defense. And he comes through.
And this is huge for a lot of reasons. You're on the edge of field goal range.
This is where you want to think about getting a piece back. 3rd and 20. You do not need to get 21 yards here. You can dial something up where you have a chance to make a play and convert. What you really need to do is get yourself in a better field goal attempt.
I think he's playing for 3 here, running the clock all the way down.
Yeah, I'm confused because he was so conservative about the clock going out of bounds, and now it's like he's letting it run off when he needs to move. I'm very confused with the clock management here.
I would think you want to use Russell Wilson's legs here. 3rd and 20. And he's going to go to the corner. And here comes 4th down. And he's going to line up for a field goal. Be a 54-yarder for Myers. And we're tied at 23. Just made it over the crossbar.
Yeah, he made that a little bit harder than it needed to be. Sweating over here a little bit.
Yeah,
Let's
that-
see if
that
they
kick
can't get
Into the
barely-
win.
That
Yeah.
kick barely went over the crossbar too, like
Yeah.
just barely.
How many games you think, TD, he's played with his Seahawks? I bet it's been a ton.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can tell he knows his team.
The 37-yard line. He knew he had the field goal all along. But like you said, we're over here sweating it out. 15 seconds to go. Does have 3 timeouts. As we've seen, all he has to do is get to about the 40-yard line for a game winner. And Prescott will throw it away. And Jordan, we might be heading for a little overtime here in the championship.
It's looking that way. I don't think Zerline can hit it from here.
And there's a sack. 5 seconds to go now in regulation, tied at 23. I'm not sure I'm not taking a knee here, TD.
Yeah, I might just hand it off, try and make a play, or just, like you said, take a knee. But he's going to take a shot, it looks like.
And he goes to Jarwin. And we will head to overtime. Just a reminder on overtime rules. Get the ball first, you go down, score a touchdown, it's the ball game. If you kick a field goal, and we've seen a lot of field goals in this one, certainly the other team will have an opportunity to respond. And the clock doesn't matter, but certainly the coin toss does. And it looks like it's going to be the Seahawks and Dez getting it first. That's huge, TD.
There we go, right? Championship on the line, overtime. Does he have a clutch drive in him? I mean, look, if there's one quarterback you want in clutch times on a short list, Russell Wilson's got to be one of the top names. So he's got the guy to do it.
Both teams with a chance to win it in regulation. It's been a good game. 332 yards of offense for Dez and Russell Wilson. And he goes back to work here, and Philip Dorsett's been a huge part of it as he's well over the century mark.
Yeah, another guy that, not used as much in real life, but in Madden, he's a guy with all that speed. And we talked about it. Speed is the most important factor, especially on regular teams. And Dorsett's been a big factor.
There's Lockett with a rare catch. Haven't seen a lot of him. Moves it down to the 41. Both teams do get 2 timeouts here in the overtime period. As we said, the game clock really does not matter. Lockett across the formation. Russell Wilson on 1st and 10. Has the corner out. DK Metcalf will tap the toes at the 32. He's in field goal range.
Yeah, he threaded the needle on that one. I mean, that was about as close as it gets. Double coverage, but DK, all that speed gets by him, taps the toes. He's on the move.
Boy, he blitzed him, and he got away from him, throws it to the corner, and it's
Is it in?
touchdown for Dez.
Wow.
And that's a ball game. That's the walk-off, Jordan.
Oh my gosh. Rolling to his right. He's been doing it all game. He's been rolling to his right, having success, finding the sideline, but that time he found the back corner of the end zone, looking like Russell Wilson in real life, finding his man in the back corner for the walk-off game winner.
Well, the champion of Xbox, Dez and the Seahawks, Johnny. And, hey, we saw 2 good games here tonight.
No doubt. The second of our 2 title tilts ending in an overtime thriller. Congratulations to Dez and his Seahawks. And, you talk about DK Metcalf. He's the receiving superstar. But as you mentioned, it was Philip Dorsett donning the superhero cape. 2 massive touchdowns. And Scott Cole, I know you've called many a close game throughout your Madden career. 7 lead changes in this game. This has to rank up there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that could have been avoided by maybe holding on to the football a little longer and making that clock work for you. Hey, but these youngsters, they're out there to have fun. They want to sling it around the yard, and they certainly did it tonight.
And of course, Cowboys fans, a sight they're used to seeing. That was Mike McCarthy looking lost at the end of that game. But Tyler Davis, you've been in the Madden trenches for quite some time now. What do you think about this next generation of future pros that we saw today?
Yeah, I'm impressed with both these guys, man. These are 2 names we're going to be looking for on the competitive circuit. I mean, great defense in the first game. Second game, that offense. What a clutch drive in overtime. What a ball game. What a day.
And Jordan Palmer, with your QB summit, you already mentioned working with Josh Allen, and pretty soon it'll be Trevor Lawrence. With quarterbacking, a lot of it is reaction time, but really the same could be said for these Madden gamers.
Yeah, it really is. And the evolution of young quarterbacks in the NFL, it's not just how they throw it. It's not just how fast they are. It actually is things like managing the game, managing the clock, knowing when to make certain decisions. And so as I look at these two young players, one of them a champion and one very, very close to being a champion, the evolution of their Madden career is also going to be as they continue to grow and develop an understanding of the clock, of situational football. It's not just the X's and O's and making plays. As these young Madden players and these young NFL quarterbacks develop that understanding of the game, future's very, very bright.
No doubt they all know what it's like to be under the spotlight. And as we mentioned earlier, so many NFL superstars love gaming. And what NFL Flag loves to do is blending both together. So check out this very special one-on-one discussion.
What's up, everybody? I'm here with my guy, Nathan. And today we're here to talk about some ball. Nathan, what made you start playing football?
So my whole family plays football. My brother, my tio, my cousin, my dad, they all play football, and it's been going around for my family for a long time.
I feel that. So you feel like you next in line. I like that. What position you play in football?
Wide receiver and cornerback.
What's your favorite out of those two?
I like wide receiver a lot.
Why?
Cause I just like catching the ball and running.
I feel that. Yeah, my favorite is when I'm at DN and the receiver try to run a screen to me, and they got to come back inside, and so I just put my foot in the ground and go chase him and crush him. So that's real fun. I love hitting receivers.
So next weekend he has the NFL Flag Bowl, which is like a huge tournament, and he's been preparing for it. This has been an interesting year, obviously, but he's super excited for next weekend, and him and his team. So, he just wanted to get some advice, how he can prepare more.
Got to be a student of the game, I say. So it's you're a student on that. You got to be a student on and off the field. So you got to be a student in the classroom, and you got to be a student of the game. So you're a student of two different things. That's how I like to put it in my mind. Everybody always says you're a student athlete. I'm a student in school, and I'm a student of football too. That's how I like to put it. But little nuggets that I give to you is even coming up as being a kid, man, everybody gets nervous before a game. Pre-game jitters, I have them. Everybody have them. You're gonna have pre-game jitters for the rest of your career. So you gotta get used to it. It will never, when you love the game, and I know you love the game, you're always gonna be nervous. And the time that I stop being nervous is the time where I'm gonna stop playing, because I know that, if I'm not nervous about a game, then you're just not gonna take it serious for real. I feel like you need that nervous, you need them juices to go, to activate that nervous system. So never get too nervous, but just know everybody gets nervous. What's your favorite player in the league? Your favorite player?
You.
Don't have to.
That's easy. That's an easy question.
I appreciate you. It's just it's real surreal. Even this opportunity, even talking to you, man. Coming up, I never, thought I would be in this position. You always dream of it, but even when you go to high school, and I know you're gonna be one D1 offers, and which you will get. I wish I could just tell you to remember this time, because you're so young, and just remember, record everything. If I was you, I wish I would have recorded more of my games, just my little workouts when I was younger, because even going back, and if I could go back and look at those videos now, it would definitely just make my whole career mean a lot more. So, man, just value this time that you had, and just remember to always have fun with the game. Always have fun, because that's a part of losing. Is a part of the game. You're gonna lose. Everybody lost before. You feel me? So just remember, always have fun with it.
And we love it because our whole family is together. We all go out together and we all play football. So it's a really great experience. He's surrounded by a lot of family when we go to these events, which is, a lot of fun. That's what makes it fun.
My games coming up, you can always hear my mom screaming in the background in the video. So it was always real cool.
Too.
Your mom? Oh yeah,
Him
you
too.
got to take pride in that. Never be embarrassed. Never be embarrassed. Because that's all. It's all love. It's all support. You're gonna love it. When you get my age, you're gonna love it.
Really, football has become our life, our weekends, and our community and our family. And that's, we're not there with the tackle yet. So really, it's NFL flag has provided such opportunities for our family, and we're so thankful. And then it's role models like you that, we're here on the weekends watching you guys on TV, and during the week when they're watching their replays on YouTube, and you guys from far are part of our family too. So we really can't thank you enough for just being that, that person in our lives.
Remember this, E plus R equals O. The event plus your response equals your outcome. So anything that happens, it's all about how you respond. Remember that. Everything that happens in your life is about how you respond. And your outcome is just going to be based off your response to everything that you do. Choices. Right? Know that. Choices in your life.
Well, Scott Cole, we see Peyton Tuma here, 10th grader, lifelong Seahawks fan, and hey, he doesn't even know what it's like to lose.
No, he doesn't. And how sweet it is to not only not lose a game, be undefeated, but do it with your favorite team. It's oh so sweet when you can do it with the Seahawks. And I tell you what, anytime you can stay undefeated and be the champion at the end, you proved you belong. And hey, you also get some sweet swag on the end.
He certainly did. And Tyler Davis, his favorite player is Russell Wilson. He wins a championship with Russell Wilson. As a Madden player yourself, how awesome is that feeling?
Yeah, that's so cool. I mean, he was prolific with Russell Wilson, too. I mean, he's throwing dots to the left, to the right, to the center. He's rolling out with them. He was doing everything with Russell Wilson out there. I'm very impressed. Congratulations to him.
Absolutely. And Jordan Palmer, you know what it's like to be under center. You know what it's like to play in the NFL, but you're also a big gamer. So what was it like being part of this experience today?
Well, this was really, really exciting just to see this really all come down. We've all played against our buddies, and we've all had, trash talk to a friend and been down and rubbed it in their face and whatever. But when you talk about actual championship, to get all the way through this tournament and then to be able to leave with that trophy and with the swag to go with it, man, that's awesome.
That's right. The winners are receiving all types of NFL flag swag. And as many of you know, NFL Flag is the most recognized flag football organization in the country. Over 500,000 athletes competing every year. And who is the chairman? Well, none other than Russell Wilson. The guy is everywhere. And on top of that, Subway joined forces with NFL Flag in 2020 to become the official sponsor. And this is huge news. In 2022, flag football will officially be added to the World Games. Yes, that means NFL Flag will have international action. And on top of that, NFL Flag has also launched a women's initiative called Females in Flag. They want to encourage as many women as possible across the country to join in flag football. So please go to NFLflag.com to find out all the information you need. With that said, that's going to be a wrap. The lights in the stadium have been turned off. We have crowned 2 new champions for Scott Cole, Tyler Davis, and Jordan Palmer. I'm Johnny LaQuasto. Thank you so much for joining us for the NFL Flag Madden 21 Youth Club Championship presented by Subway.
Want to power up? Go pro at Subway for double the protein on footlong subs and the new protein bowls. And if you want to go pro like Marshawn, don't let anything get in your way.
Here we go.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. What's up, Alice?
Hey, Marshawn.
Good call. Go pro and get double the protein for just $2 more on your favorite sub or new protein bowl. Subway, eat fresh.